They pulled a competitor's products from every shelf they owned. That competitor's stock dropped 33%. Your Prada glasses were not made by Prada. They were made on the same production line as everything else. 43 million Americans are on an insurance plan owned by the same company that owns the store and the glasses. This is why. The frames on your face cost somewhere between $4 and $8 to manufacture. You probably paid $300. You walked into a store, picked a brand you trusted, and paid with your vision insurance. That felt like three separate choices. The store, the brand, and the insurance were all owned by the same company. That company generated over $29 billion in revenue last year. Most people who wear its products have never heard its name. Leonardo Del Vecchio was born in Milan in 1935. His father, a street vendor, died before he was born. His mother had 4 other children and could not support them all. At 7 years old, Leonardo was placed in an orphanage. He stayed there until he was 14, when he began working as an apprentice in a metal tool factory. He lost part of a finger on the job. He used his wages to enroll in evening design courses. By his early 20s, he had moved to Agordo, a small town in the Italian Dolomites, the center of Italy's eyewear manufacturing region. In 1961, at the age of 26, he founded a company called Luxottica. It started as a workshop making small metal parts for other people's eyeglass frames. 14 employees. Within a few years, he stopped making parts for others and started selling complete frames under his own name. But manufacturing alone was not enough for Del Vecchio. From the very beginning, he wanted to control how his products reached people, not just how they were made. He understood before almost anyone else in the industry that eyeglasses were not just a medical necessity. They were a fashion accessory, and whoever controlled how they were sold would control what they cost. In 1990, Del Vecchio listed Luxottica on the New York Stock Exchange instead of Milan. He once said that if you have to sail, it is better to choose the big sea. He used the listing to fund an acquisition spree that lasted decades. In 1995, Luxottica launched a hostile takeover of the United States Shoe Corporation, a company 5 times its size, to acquire its subsidiary, LensCrafters, the largest optical retail chain in North America. It was audacious. A mid-size Italian frame manufacturer had just taken over the biggest optical chain in America. In 1999, Luxottica acquired Ray-Ban, one of the most recognized eyewear brands on Earth. At the time, Ray-Ban had been declining in sales and cultural relevance. Luxottica bought it at a relative discount, repositioned it as a premium lifestyle brand, and turned it into the best-selling sunglass line in the world. In 2001, it acquired Sunglass Hut, the largest sunglass retail chain on the planet, with thousands of stores in airports, shopping centers, and tourist destinations worldwide. Each acquisition added a new layer of control. Luxottica now made the glasses, owned the brands, and ran the stores that sold them. In the early 2000s, Oakley was one of the most valuable eyewear brands in the world. Athletes wore them. The brand carried real cultural weight. For a brief period, Oakley was a genuine competitor to Luxottica's own brands. After acquiring Sunglass Hut, Luxottica told Oakley it wanted to pay lower wholesale prices. Oakley refused. Luxottica's response was immediate. It pulled every Oakley product from every store it owned. Sunglass Hut, the largest sunglass chain on the planet, LensCrafters, Pearle Vision, all of them, overnight. Oakley's stock price dropped 33%. While Oakley was losing market value, Luxottica came back with an acquisition offer. $2.1 billion. Oakley had been locked out of the dominant retail channel and could not recover its position. The deal closed in 2007. After the purchase, Luxottica put Oakley products right back on the shelves of the same stores that had just removed them, and raised the prices. Oakley's founder, Jim Jannard, who had started the company selling motorcycle grips out of the back of his car, accepted the deal and stepped away from the company entirely. This is how the machine works. Control the stores. Use that control to set terms with independent brands. If they refuse, lock them out of the retail channel. If their stock drops far enough, buy them, then put them back on the shelves at a higher price. It is the same playbook applied repeatedly across decades, and it is the reason the eyewear industry has so few independent competitors left. When you pick up a pair of Prada glasses at your optician, Prada did not make them. They were manufactured in the same Luxottica factory complex as almost everything else, on the same production lines, by the same workers. Prada collects a licensing royalty. Luxottica sets the price. The same arrangement applies to Chanel, Versace, Giorgio Armani, Burberry, Dolce & Gabbana, Ralph Lauren, Tiffany, and Michael Kors. In 2019, the man who originally founded LensCrafters visited the Chinese factories where most American eyeglass frames are now manufactured. He reported that quality frames cost between $4 and $8 to produce. Designer quality frames, the kind that carry a Prada or Chanel label, cost roughly $15. Those same frames retail in the United States for $300 or more. The markup on a pair of designer-branded glasses can exceed 1,000%. And most of that margin does not go to the designer whose name is on the temple. It goes to the company that controls the factory, the store, and the shelf space. But the price is only part of it. Luxottica also owns EyeMed, the second-largest vision insurance company in the United States. EyeMed covers approximately 43 million Americans. Your employer pays the insurance premium. That premium goes to Luxottica. EyeMed then directs you to in-network providers. Those providers include LensCrafters, Target Optical, and Pearle Vision. Every one of those stores is owned by Luxottica. You walk in and pick frames. Ray-Ban, Oakley, Prada, Coach, Versace. Every one of those frames is manufactured by Luxottica. The insurance premium, the retail margin, and the manufacturing profit all flow to the same company in a single transaction. EyeMed does not disclose to its 43 million members that it is owned by the same company that owns the stores and the brands. In 2018, Luxottica merged with Essilor, the world's largest manufacturer of prescription lenses. The combined company, Essilor-Luxottica, now controls frames, lenses, retail stores, and insurance. It is the largest eyewear company on Earth, and there is no close second. As of 2025, it operates over 17,000 stores in more than 150 countries. It employs over 200,000 people. Its annual revenue exceeded $29 billion. 3 out of 4 adults worldwide require some form of vision correction, and the majority of the products available to serve that need pass through one company's supply chain at some point. In 2024, Essilor-Luxottica acquired Supreme, the streetwear brand, for $1.5 billion. An eyewear company buying a streetwear brand confused analysts, but the playbook was the same one Del Vecchio ran on Ray-Ban 30 years earlier. Buy a brand at a discount, fold it into the machine. The company is also partnered with Meta, building smart glasses. In 2025 alone, they sold over 7 million pairs of Ray-Ban and Oakley smart glasses, more than triple the previous year. Production capacity is being expanded toward 20 million units a year. The company that started as a 14-person workshop in the Italian mountains is quietly becoming one of the largest wearable technology platforms on Earth. Leonardo Del Vecchio died of pneumonia in June 2022, at the age of 87. At the time of his death, he was the second richest person in Italy, with a net worth of over $24 billion. He never stopped running the company he built. Most people never knew his name. Most people still do not know the name of the company he founded. But if you wear glasses or sunglasses, you have almost certainly bought something it made, from a store it owns, possibly covered by insurance it runs. You never chose Luxottica. You never saw the name on anything you bought. But the frames, the store, and the insurance were all the same company, and they still are. This is the markup.